So the end result, Tom Brady gets Super Bowl ring number 7. Here he is declining to prioritize which ring means more than the other and which one may mean the most.
Every year is different. This year has been it's been incredible for me. It's just been incredible. So it's great. That's where I rank it. It's great.
Brady used to say when asked what's his favorite Super Bowl win, he would say the next one. And I guess he can't really say the next one anymore because at 43, you can't presume there's going to be a next one. But a lot of people do assume there's going to be a next one. I think what they did last night was the bookend to what they did with the Patriots to the Rams 19 years ago when the Rams were 14-point favorites and the Patriots, the Buccaneers. I used to have a hard time not calling the Buccaneers the Patriots. Now I'm going to have a hard time not calling the Patriots the Buccaneers, but the Patriots won that game, and that was before anybody really knew who Brady was. There was a question early in the week as to whether or not Brady was even going to play in that game. He got injured in the AFC Championship, played 7 days before the Super Bowl. Drew Bledsoe came in and finished the job, won the game, and then went back to the bench. But that, to me, was the most impressive because it was the most unlikely. I felt like the Patriots were going to win every Super Bowl that they were in since then, and I ultimately felt like they were going to win yesterday because of Tom Brady's presence.
Yeah, Tom Brady's not going to rank them, but we certainly can, Mike. And you never forget your first one. Like you said, they were big underdogs in that game. The Rams were supposed to come out and kill them. They didn't do it. The Patriots won that game. I think the other one that was really special for him was the Seahawks victory in 2014 because of the gap there. Because people forget he won in 2001, 2003, 2004. Then there was that whole gap when we wondered whether Tom Brady would ever win another Super Bowl after his third, and he got back there in 14 and won it in 14, and then obviously 16, and now we've come to expect Brady to win it. But Mike, when you look at the margins of victory for him in the Super Bowl, total margins of victory in his first 6 Super Bowls was 19 points. He won this one by 22 points. In my mind, this was Brady's greatest victory ever because of his age, because of COVID, because of no offseason program, coming to a new team, learning a new offense. To me, it's the greatest accomplishment he's ever had. And that's saying something because he's had a lot of these.
I'm not ready to go quite that far because coming back from 28-3, I think, was the moment he vaulted to the same level as a Michael Jordan, even though it put him at 5 Super Bowl wins, and there was a sense that maybe that was the perfect moment for him to drop the mic and walk off into the sunset. He's won half of the Super Bowls since that day in Houston 4 years ago. But you mentioned the win over the Seahawks. That came 14 days after Deflategate emerged. And the NFL eventually would come down hard on him with the 4-game suspension that was served to start the 2016 season. To me, that was a meaningful victory because they had to prove that they could win without footballs that may or may not have had the top taken off of them, as people around the league were saying at the time. So, look, they're all special. They're all significant, and he now has 7 of them. And it's that mentality they brought to the Buccaneers that the Buccaneers believe pushed them over the top, took them from 7-9 to 11-5 and Super Bowl champion. Here's Coach Bruce Arians and Mike Evans talking about the mentality that Tom Brady brings to a locker room.
I think the leadership that Tom brings and his attitude that, hey, let's go play. It's never over till it's over, and we're going to win this thing somehow, some way. And it permeated through our whole locker room. His belief that we're going to do this, and knowing that he'd been there and done it, our guys believed it, and it changed our entire football team.
It was instant. I mean, if you had Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, that's going to do it itself, and we had a lot of great players around him. And if you give, the GOAT all these players, and, it's going to work out. And it did.
Oh, it definitely did. And you know what? Something that dawned on me earlier today, Charean, the torment that Tom Brady experienced in losing 3 Super Bowls. That, I think, makes him even more determined to not lose another one. When you think about how close the games were that his teams won, the games he lost were just as close. And he was favored in each of those 3 games, if I recall correctly. They were 18-0 when they lost to the Giants. They faced the Giants again 4 years later and lost that one by narrow margin. And then he had 500 passing yards in the Super Bowl loss 3 years ago in Minnesota to the Eagles. He did everything in his power to will the team to victory and was unable to do it. I think the losses are so painful and so permanent that the more he's lost, the more determined he becomes never to lose again.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.